Hey there, this is Doug from SpeedCubeShop, and in this tutorial I will be teaching you how to repair a popped 4x4. Popping is when a piece or multiple pieces will end up falling or popping out of the cube. And while it can seem that this means that your cube has become broken or damaged, this is a totally normal occurrence that shouldn't worry you, as the pieces will still be functional, they just need to be placed back into the puzzle. Popping is most often caused by the puzzle's tension being too loose or by trying to force a corner cut too aggressively. So once the cube has been repaired, I would recommend to check your puzzle's tensions and likely tighten the screws a bit. Popping is also less common on higher end cubes due to higher quality plastic, molds, and better mechanisms, as well as typically coming with better tensions from the factory. This tutorial will be demonstrated on the Qi MS Magnetic 4x4, and while this may not look exactly like your puzzle, the concepts and solutions are the same, with the only exception being GAN puzzles. An example of this will be shown in a different video. There will be a few popping examples in this video, so I will be listing them with timestamps so you can go to the section that you need more easily. The examples of popping would be an edge or multiple edge pieces, a center piece, a corner piece, or a small internal edge piece. Before we get started, a tool you may need would be a Phillips head screwdriver. The reason why is that the puzzle may be a bit too tight to easily fit these pieces back into, so I will loosen the screws a bit to make everything easier. So for this case, because I'm going to be dealing in this section, I just want to loosen the 3 centers that are nearby, which would be, in this case, blue, red, and yellow. I also recommend to keep track of how tight or loose you are making screws whenever you're making changes, so that then you can return the screws to the previous tensions that you had them after you're done. So for this case, I will do a 360-degree turn, another 360-degree turn, and then a third 360-degree turn. So when you have an edge or multiple edge pieces that have popped out of a 4x4, it's a really simple fix. So basically they normally will sit around this internal edge piece in here. And as long as you've loosened the cube like I have before, what you can do is cut the top layer about 45 degrees. It just makes things easier to put back in. Then you'll just take one of the edges and just slide it back in. And then you can do the same for the other one. And that would be it. If you've had a centerpiece pop out, sometimes if the puzzle is loose enough, you can just easily slide it back into where it needs to be. But a better option would be to cut the puzzle 45 degrees like we did in the last step, and you can actually just remove an edge the same sort of way that we put it in by taking it out like this. And then you can get the center that you're going to be putting back in, sort of put it back in the same way that we did the edge, and just slide it up to where it needs to go. You can then replace the edge just that easily, and then you're ready to go. If you've had a corner piece pop out, it's also a pretty simple fix. I would not recommend just jamming it back into the cube like we would on, say, maybe a 2x2, but you could cut it 45 degrees the same way that we have on the other steps. I would recommend both of the edges. It'll come out with this little edge in the middle as well most of the time. And then you can easily just slide the corner back in place, and then slide the whole edge construction back in together as well. If you've had a small internal edge piece pop, this is probably the most difficult piece to get back into the puzzle, but it's still not that bad. So the first step would be cutting the top layer 45 degrees, like in all of these steps, and removing the edges together with the larger internal edge piece as well. It's giving me a little bit of difficulty here, but you can sort of twist it out of the way and get it like this. So we can actually see right there that that's basically where this piece is going to go, but this piece came out of that side there. So you can actually sort of see that there's a missing piece there. So what we'll have to do is flip it the proper direction. It's going to sit in the puzzle basically this way, and we can just set it back between these 2 centers like so. So now I'll flip the puzzle back around, and I'll put the edge pieces back in the same way that I got them in the first place. Gotta get the whole edge construct in there at once. And there you go. Once you've had whatever pieces you needed to insert back in the puzzle, be sure to tighten up those sides that you ended up loosening in the previous steps. So I loosened mine by 360 degrees, so I'm going to tighten them by the same amount. and then your cube's as good as new. Thanks for watching. If you need help with other puzzles, we have an assortment of other tutorials which we will link below in the description. You can also find a link to our full resources playlist for cubing terminology and other tutorial videos. If you have requests for future videos, leave it in a comment below and subscribe to not miss our future tutorials. If you can't find a video for your situation, please feel free to email us at service@speedcubeshop.com and we'll be happy to help.